I slam my hand on Jason's kitchen counter hard enough that the coffee mugs rattle. The 3 kids stare at me from the doorway, their eyes wide with something between hope and fear, and I realize I've just crossed a line I can never uncross. "You're not taking Daisy," I say to Jenny, my voice steady despite the rage burning through my chest. "She's not going to Orlando. The older 3 are." Jenny's face goes red, then white. She sets down her phone with exaggerated care, like she's trying not to throw it at me. "Excuse me? I spent $3,000 on this trip. My money, my planning. I saved for months to give these kids something good, something normal, something that doesn't involve being left behind while their father chooses his second family over them." I look past Jenny to where Jace, Jeff, and Hannah are frozen in the hallway. Hannah's wearing that ratty pink hoodie she's had for 3 years because Jenny won't buy her new clothes. Jeff's got his backpack on, ready for the airport. Jace looks like he's bracing for the explosion we all know is coming. I said, "She's not coming," I repeat. "I'm taking Jace, Jeff, and Hannah, the kids who have never gotten to do anything, the kids you leave at home every time. You 3 go somewhere nice." "Those aren't your kids," Jenny's voice hits. That particular pitch that makes my teeth hurt. "You can't just exclude Daisy. She's 10 years old. Do you know what that will do to her?" I lean forward. "Do you know what it does to a 12-year-old to watch her father take her, half-sister, to Disney World while she stays home? Because I do. I watched Hannah cry about Eat It for a week." Jason walks in from the garage, still in his work clothes even, though it's 7 at night. He looks exhausted, defeated, like he always does. "What's going on?" "On? Your sister," Jenny spits the word like it's poison, "is trying to kidnap our children and exclude Daisy from a family trip." "Not a family trip," I say calmly. "My trip, my money, my rules." Jason's face does this complicated thing where I can see him trying to figure out which woman he's supposed to support. 10 years ago, he would have backed me. 10 years ago, he was still my brother. Now he's just Jenny's husband. "Come on, sis," he says quietly. "Be reasonable. We can't just tell Daisy she's not going. Jenny's right. She's just a kid." Hannah makes a small noise from the doorway. It's barely audible, but I hear it. It's the sound of hope dying. "The plane tickets are in my name," I say. "The hotel reservation is in my name. Everything is paid for. Everything is booked. And we're leaving in 4 hours. You can try to stop me, but you won't. Because for once, these 3 kids are going to matter." Jenny's eyes narrow. "If you take them, you're not welcome in this house again." I grab my purse from the counter. I haven't felt welcome here in 5 years. The silence that follows is sharp enough to cut. I turn to the 3 kids. "Get your bags. We're leaving." They don't move at first. They've been trained too well, conditioned to wait for permission, to never expect good things. Then Jace nods once, grabs Hannah's hand, and they disappear up the stairs. Jeff follows, practically running. "You're destroying this family," Jenny says, and there's something in her voice that's almost triumphant, like she's been waiting for this moment, like she wants me to be the villain. "You did that yourself," I tell her. "You did it every time you took Daisy out for ice cream and left them at home. Every vacation, every dinner, every single choice you made to exclude them because they weren't yours." Jason finally speaks up. "They're not her kids. She didn't sign up for 3 stepchildren." The words hang in the air like smoke. This is it. This is the moment I've been avoiding for a decade. The truth we've all been dancing around. My brother chose a woman over his own children. He chose peace over being a father. He chose Jenny's happiness over everything else. Then she shouldn't have married a man with 3 kids, I say quietly, and you shouldn't have let her treat them like this. Daisy appears in the doorway behind Jenny, her face scrunched up with tears. She's wearing a Disney princess shirt, probably new. "Why can't I go?" My heart twists, but I hold firm. Because this trip is for your siblings. That's not fair, she wails, and Jenny immediately scoops her up, shooting me a look of pure hatred. See what you're doing? See what you're doing to my baby? I see what you've done to his, I snap back. For 10 years. The kids thunder down the stairs with their bags. Hannah's carrying a duffel that's almost as big as she is. They move toward me like I'm their life raft, and maybe I am. Maybe I've always been the only one who saw them drowning. Jenny blocks the door to the garage. You're not taking them. I'm calling the police. Call them, I say. Tell them that the legal aunt of these children, who has her brother's written permission, is taking them on a vacation. I've got the document in my car. Jason signed it 3 weeks ago when he thought you were all coming. Jason flinches. He did sign it. He just didn't think I'd actually use it to exclude Daisy. He thought I'd fall in line like I always do. Keep the peace, pretend everything is fine. Jason, Jenny's voice is dangerous now. Stop her. Right now. He looks at me, then at the kids, then at his wife. I watch him make the choice in real time. He steps aside. Jenny's scream of fury follows us all the way to my rental car. The drive to the airport is quiet, except for Hannah's sniffles in the back seat. Jace sits in the passenger seat, staring straight ahead, his jaw tight. Jeff keeps looking back at the house, like he expects Jason to chase us down. Nobody speaks until we're on the highway. Are we really going? Hannah asks finally, her voice small. We're really going, I tell her. She starts crying harder, but this time it sounds different. Relief, maybe, or joy, or just the release of years of being invisible in her own home. Aunt Claire, Jace says, and his voice cracks. He's 19, technically an adult, but right now he sounds about 12. Thank you. You don't have to thank me, I say. This is what family is supposed to do. At the airport, I buy them snacks and magazines. Hannah picks out a stuffed Mickey Mouse from one of the tourist shops, clutching it like it might disappear. Jeff gets excited about the plane, even though he tries to hide it. Jace stays quiet, protective, keeping an eye on his siblings like he's been doing his whole life. My phone won't stop buzzing. Jenny's calling, texting, leaving voicemails that I don't listen to. Jason sends one message. Please reconsider. I turn my phone off. On the plane, Hannah falls asleep against my shoulder before we even take off. Jeff and Jace play some game on Jeff's phone, their heads bent together, and I think about all the times they've had to be the adults in that house. All the times they cooked their own dinners while Jason worked and Jenny took Daisy out, all the parent-teacher conferences nobody attended, all the birthdays that got forgotten. Orlando is humid and chaotic and perfect. We spend 3 days at the parks, and I watch these kids transform. Hannah screams on every ride, her face lit up with pure joy. Jeff drags us to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge twice. Jace, serious Jace, who's been parentified since he was 9, buys a lightsaber and duels with his brother in front of the Millennium Falcon. We eat too much junk food, we stay up too late, we take 1,000 photos. For 3 days, they're just kids. They're not the forgotten ones, not the inconvenient stepchildren, not the reminder of Jason's failed first marriage. They're just kids on vacation with their aunt who loves them. On the 4th morning, I turn my phone back on. 63 missed calls, 47 text messages, 5 voicemails. I make coffee in the hotel room kitchenette and start reading while the kids sleep in. The first few texts from Jenny are what I expect. Angry, accusatory, threatening legal action. Then they get weirder. You've always been jealous of me. You can't have children of your own, so you're trying to steal mine. Jason says you were always difficult. I delete those without responding. Jason's messages are different, pleading at first. Please, just bring Daisy next time. Jenny is really hurt. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Then they shift. The kids need to come home. Jeff has school. You're being selfish. Jeff is homeschooled by Jenny, who barely teaches him. Jace is in community college. Hannah's in middle school and it's summer break. Every excuse is a lie, and we both know it. Then I get to the voicemail from my mother. My stomach drops before I even press play. Claire Elizabeth, she starts, and I know it's bad because she's, "What on earth are you doing?" Jenny called us in tears. What on earth are you doing? Jenny called us in tears. That poor woman. Those children aren't yours to take. You need to apologize and them home immediately. Your brother has enough stress without you causing problems. Call me back. I sit on the hotel balcony and drink my coffee and watch the Florida sunrise and try to remember when my family stopped seeing these 3 kids as human beings. Hannah wanders out in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. Is everything okay? I paste on a smile. Everything's perfect. Want to get breakfast at that pancake place? Her face lights up. Can I get chocolate chip? You can get whatever you want. We spend the day at the pool. The kids are starting to relax, to trust that this is real, that nobody's going to rip it away from them. Jace actually smiles, a real one, when Jeff does a cannonball that splashes half the pool deck. Hannah makes friends with another girl her age, and they play mermaids for 2 hours straight. I watch them and make a decision. That night, after the kids are asleep, I call Jason. He answers on the first ring. Finally, he says, Jesus, Claire, do you know what you've put us through? I know what you've put your kids through, I say, every single day for 10 years. That's not fair. I work my ass off for those kids. Working isn't parenting. Money isn't love. You know what Jeff told me yesterday? He said this was the best week of his life. The best week, Jason, and all it took was someone paying attention to him. Silence on the other end. Hannah asked me if she could live with me, I continue. She's 12 years old and she wants to move to another continent to get away from your house. Does that not tell you something? You're turning them against us, Jason says finally. Jenny said you would do this. She said you'd poison them against her. I laugh, and it sounds bitter even to my own ears. I didn't have to poison them against anyone. You did that yourselves. Every time you left them behind, every time you chose Daisy over them, every time you let Jenny treat them like they were nothing. Daisy is 10. She needs her parents. And what about the other 3? What did they need? He doesn't answer. I'm not bringing them back, I say. Not yet. We have 4 more days. We're going to finish this vacation. We're going to make memories that don't involve them feeling like second-class citizens in their own home. And then we're going to have a conversation about what happens next. What do you mean, what happens next? I mean that I'm done pretending this is okay. I'm done watching you fail as a father. I'm done watching Jenny treat your children like they're an inconvenience. Something has to change. You can't just take my kids. Watch me, I say, and hang up. I block his number. I block Jenny's. I block my mother's. For the next 4 days, we're going to exist in a bubble where these kids matter, where they're loved, where they're chosen. We visit the beach. None of them have ever seen the ocean before, which breaks my heart in ways I can't articulate. Hannah collects shells for hours. Jeff tries to surf and fails spectacularly and laughs about it. Jace sits with me in the sand and finally talks. I remember when Dad used to care, he says quietly. Before Jenny. Before Daisy. He used to come to my baseball games. He used to help with homework. Then he met her, and everything changed. I remember too, I tell him. Jeff doesn't remember much, and Hannah barely remembers Mom. All she knows is being left out. He picks up a shell, turns it over in his hands. I tried to be there for them, but I'm just their brother, you know? I can't fix it. It's not your job to fix it, I say firmly. You're 19. You're supposed to be living your life, not raising your siblings. Someone has to. The weight of that statement sits heavy between us. He's right. Someone has to. And it's been him for far too long. What would you do, I ask, if you could do anything, go anywhere, be anyone? He's quiet for a long time. I got accepted to a university, 4-year. They offered me a scholarship, almost a full ride. That's amazing. Why didn't you go? Jenny said the family couldn't afford to help with the rest. Said I needed to stay close, go to community college, help out with the kids. Dad agreed. I closed my eyes. Of course she did. Of course she found a way to keep him trapped there, a built-in babysitter for when she and Jason want to do things with Daisy. You're going, I say. You're going to that university. I'll help with whatever the scholarship doesn't cover. Aunt Claire, you can't. I can and I will. You're going. You're getting out of that house and you're going to live your life. He starts crying, big, silent tears that run down his face while he stares at the ocean. I put my arm around him and let him cry it out, all the years of pressure and responsibility and being forced to grow up too fast. On our last day, we go back to Magic Kingdom. It's crowded and hot and everything is overpriced, but the kids don't care. We ride every ride we can. We eat Mickey pretzels and Dole Whip. We stay until the fireworks. And when they start, Hannah gasps like it's the most beautiful thing she's ever seen. Maybe it is. Jeff records the whole thing on his phone. Jace watches with his arm around Hannah. I take a picture of the three of them with the castle in the background, their faces lit up by fireworks and happiness. This is what I wanted. This moment. This memory. Something good to carry with them. On the plane home, the reality starts creeping back in. Hannah gets quiet. Jeff's leg bounces with anxiety. Jace just stares out the window, his jaw set. They know what's waiting for them. We need to talk about what happens next, I say, once we're in the car from the airport. We go back, Jace says flatly. We go back and pretend like nothing happened and everything goes back to normal. No, I say. No, we're not doing that. I pull into a parking lot instead of heading to their house. Turn around to face all three of them in the back seat. Here's what's going to happen. Jace, you're going to that university. I'm paying for it. You're moving into the dorms in 6 weeks. Jeff, you're 16 next month, right? He nods. Old enough to choose which parent you want to live with in a custody dispute. I'm going to talk to a lawyer. See what options we have. There's no custody dispute, Jeff says. Mom's gone. Dad has full custody. Then we'll create one. You're old enough to have a say. Hannah, you're not quite old enough yet, but we're going to document everything. Every time they leave you behind, every time they exclude you, every time Jenny treats you different from Daisy, we're going to build a case. For what? Hannah asks. For getting you out of there. Maybe Jeff goes to live with me for a year. Maybe we push for Jason to actually parent you instead of working all the time. Maybe we make so much noise that Jenny has to change her behavior. I don't know yet, but we're not going back to how things were. They're going to be so mad, Hannah whispers. Let them be mad. You three have spent your whole lives making yourselves small so Jenny wouldn't be upset, so your dad wouldn't have to choose. You've been good and quiet and invisible, and where has it gotten you? It's time to make some noise. Jace meets my eyes in the rearview mirror. You really mean this? Every word. Okay, he says. Okay, let's do it. When we pull up to the house, every light is on. Jason's truck is in the driveway, along with 2 cars I don't recognize. My stomach sinks. Is that Grandma and Grandpa's car? Jeff asks. Of course, Jenny called in reinforcements. Stay behind me, I tell the kids. We walk in like we're heading into battle, because we are. The living room is full. Jason and Jenny on the couch. Jenny's parents in the armchairs. My mother standing by the window. Everyone turns when we enter. The energy in the room is hostile, crackling with anger. There you are, my mother says. Do you have any idea what you've put this family through? Hi, Mom. Nice to see you too. Jenny stands up. Her eyes are red, like she's been crying, but her face is hard. How dare you? How dare you take my children and just disappear for a week? 3 of them aren't your children. Say calmly. And I didn't disappear. Jason knew exactly where we were. You turned phone off. Because I didn't want to listen to you scream at me for giving your stepchildren a vacation. Jenny's father stands up. He's a big man, used to intimidating people. Young lady, you had no right. I had every right. I'm their aunt. I had their father's written permission. And unlike everyone in this room, I actually care about what happens to them. That's not fair, Jason says quietly. I love my kids. You? I turn on him. Do you love them? Because you have a funny way of showing it. When was the last time you took Hannah somewhere? Just the two of you. When was the last time you went to one of Jeff's tournaments? When was the last time you asked Jace about his future? I'm working all the time to support this family. You're working all the time to avoid this family. You're working so you don't have to see what's happening under your own roof. You're working so you don't have to admit that you chose your sect wife over your first 3 children. The room erupts, everyone talking at once, yelling over each other. Jenny's mother is saying something about respect. My mother is defending Jason. Jenny's father is demanding an apology. And through it all, I see the 3 kids standing behind me, watching their family tear itself apart over whether or not they deserve to be treated like human beings. Enough! I shout it loud enough that everyone stops. You want to know what happened on this trip? You want to know what your children said to me? Hannah asked if she could live with me because she doesn't feel safe here. Jeff said he feels invisible in his own home. And Jace, your oldest son, the one who has been raising his siblings because you won't, told me that he turned down a full scholarship because Jenny convinced him the family needed him here. Jason's face goes white. What? You didn't tell him? I look at Ren. Jenny. Of course you didn't. That's not what happened, Jenny says quickly. Jace chose to stay. He wanted to be close to family. Liar, Jace says. His voice is quiet but clear. Everyone turns to look at him. You told me Dad couldn't afford to help, and that I needed to stay and help with the kids. You said it wouldn't be fair to leave Dad alone with everyone. Jason, Jenny turns to her husband, that's not how it happened. But Jason is staring at his son with something like horror in his eyes. You got accepted to a university? Michigan State, Jace says. Full tuition scholarship. I just needed help with room and board, but Jenny said we couldn't afford it. We could have afforded it, Jason says slowly. We went to Turks and Caicos last month. You, Jenny, and Daisy went to Turks and Caicos, I correct. These 3 stayed home. The silence that follows is deafening. I can see the pieces clicking together in Jason's head. All the trips, all the dinners out, all the money spent on Daisy, while the other 3 wore secondhand clothes and ate whatever they could scrounge from the kitchen. This is inappropriate, Jenny's mother says sharply. This is between Jason and Jenny. It's not your place to interfere. Someone has to, I say, because these kids have been drowning for 10 years and nobody was throwing them a life raft. My mother steps forward. Claire, I think you need to leave. You've said your piece. Let Jason handle his own family. No, I say, not until we talk about what happens next. Nothing happens next, Jenny says. Her voice is shaking with rage. You leave. You get out of our house and you don't come back. You're not welcome here anymore. You're not family. I'm more family to these kids than you've ever been. She moves toward me, and for a second I think she might actually hit me. Jason grabs her arm. Jenny, don't. Let me go. She wrenches free. I'm done with this. I'm done with her interference and her judgment and her trying to make me look like a villain. I married you, not your baggage. I signed up to be a wife and a mother to my child, not to play mommy to your ex-wife's kids. The words hang in the air like a grenade. Hannah makes a small, wounded sound. Jeff's face crumples. Jace just nods like this confirms everything he's always known. Jenny, Jason says, his voice barely a whisper. Don't. But she's on a roll now, 10 years of resentment pouring out. I've tried. God knows I've tried to make this work, but they're not mine. They're never going to be mine. They're just these constant reminders of your first marriage, your first family. And I'm supposed to what? Love them anyway? Pretend like I chose this? You chose to marry a man with 3 children, I say coldly. You don't get to act like they're an imposition. I chose to marry Jason, not them. Then you chose wrong, Jason says. Everyone stops, turns to him. He's staring at Jenny like he's seeing her for the first time. What? Jenny's voice is small now. You chose wrong, because they're part of the package. They're my kids. And if you can't love them, if you can't even try to treat them like they matter, then you chose wrong. Jason, I didn't mean... Yes, you did. He looks at his 3 older children, really looks at them, and I see the moment his heart breaks. God, what have I done? Dad, Jace says, but Jason shakes his head. No, she's right. Claire's right. I've been a coward. I've been so afraid of losing another marriage that I let you push my kids aside. I let you make them feel like they didn't belong in their own home. I chose you over them every single time, and they deserved better. Jenny's crying now. I tried. I really tried. No, you didn't. You put up with them. There's a difference. I should feel triumphant. This is what I wanted, right? For Jason to finally see what's been happening, for him to finally choose his kids. But watching this family implode in real time just makes me feel tired. What now? Jeff asks quietly. What happens now? Jason runs his hands through his hair. He looks older suddenly, exhausted. Now we figure it out. Now I fix what I broke. You can't fix it, Hannah says. She's crying, tears running down her face. You can't just fix it. You chose her for 10 years. 10 years we waited for you to see us. And it took Aunt Claire yelling at you for you to finally notice. Baby girl. Don't, she says. Don't call me that. You don't get to call me that when you forgot my last 3 birthdays. The accusation lands like a physical blow. Jason's face crumples. I didn't forget. I was working. You forgot, Hannah insists. You worked because it was easier than being here, than being with us. From the hallway, a small voice says, Daddy? We all turn. Daisy is standing there in her pajamas, holding a stuffed animal. She looks tiny and scared and confused. What's happening? She asks. Why is everyone yelling? Jenny immediately goes to her, scoops her up. Nothing, baby. Everything's fine. Let's get you back to bed. No, Jason says. No, she should hear this too. She's part of this family. She's 10 years old. And Hannah is 12, and she's had to deal with being excluded her entire life. Maybe Daisy needs to understand that actions have consequences. Jenny looks at him like he's a stranger. Don't you dare use our daughter to score points in this fight. I'm not. I'm trying to teach her something I should have taught her years ago, that her siblings matter, that family means all of us, not just the 3 of us. Daisy starts crying. Jenny glares at me like this is all my fault. Maybe it is. Maybe I started something that can't be stopped now. But when I look at Jace, Jeff, and Hannah, I don't regret it. Not for a second. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did I do the right thing taking those kids on that trip? Or should I have stayed out of it?